Hey guys, it's Christian here to explain you something about Connect 4. So in this video we're going to cover some Connect 4 openings using the site connect4gamesolver.org. On this site, so Connect 4 solves game. This means in every position, computer can tell us who is winning and in how many moves, which side is winning. So optimal play is possible, at least in theory, for machines, but is it possible for humans? At the time of making this video, I don't know the question. What I can tell you is that in a lot of opening lines, optimal play is possible, and some moves may seem a bit cryptic at first, but if we work it out, there are some clear and easy to understand ideas, and I'm trying to always choose the easiest way to win and to understand, but yeah, the margin of victory for the first player is very small. So the first player, like in a lot of cases, you have only one move to win and every other move loses or draws, and that's like a lot of moves, but the ideas are always the same. And basically the most important thing is that you understand the importance of odd and even threats, which I explained in my last video. And in the first video, we're at first going to cover the stack everything in the middle opening. And yeah, I mean, this opening is, in my opinion, just solved in human play. And so I'm going to cover the most relevant lines here. So, first player in this position only has one move. They need to go here. In case second player does something stupid, we do this and we have a double threat and we win as the first player. So let's say the second player goes here. The other move is that they go here. First, this move may seem more reasonable because it's closer to the center, but it turns out this is easily winning. So first player responds by this move, and then let's say second player does something stupid like this. I mean, it looks reasonable, but it turns out that the first player can get a D shape. So what is a D shape? A D shape is the shape that we have if you look at the look at the piles in the square D1, C2, C3, and D3. Why is this shape so dangerous? So I can just show you. So let's say second player responds by that, and then as the first player, we just want to fill up the first row, so the first column. So we do that, and let's say the second player responds, and then first player gets an odd threat on the left-hand side and wins because second player cannot generate an odd threat on the right-hand side to counter it, and odd versus even wins. So first player is winning. Odd versus even wins for first player. So let's say instead of this, yellow does something else like that, and we just go here. Let's say yellow. Yellow should go here, and so let's say we go here, and then in case yellow responds like this, we get our odd threat still. So, I mean, even if we don't fill up the first column at first, at some point it's going to get filled up, and then we will have an odd threat as the first player. So this is why the D shape is so dangerous, because it just ensures the existence of, in this case, an odd threat, because we have the D shape that ends on an odd row. Okay. So second player has to go here. Now first player goes here, and if second player doesn't go here, we get our D shape and we win. So let's say second player goes here. In this case, first player just wins with a double attack. They go here and second player has to respond, but then we win. So in this opening, it's one of the easier ones to understand. And now we are going to cover one a bit more difficult line. So let's say second player responds like that. Then first player goes here, second player has to fill in, first player goes here. And it turns out that in this opening, I mean, second player doesn't absolutely have to respond like this to prevent us from getting the D shape. They can go here, and in case we get our D shape, second player goes here and they have an odd thread on the right hand side of the board, and then the odd thread on the right hand side of the board and the even thread on the left hand side of the board cancel out, and this position is drawn. So let's say, so yeah, red player has to respond in some other way, and this is, I think, the most easy to understand way. So let's say red player goes here, and now let's say second player gets the odd thread. In case they get the odd thread, we win by generating the odd thread on the same on the same row. So second player cannot generate the odd thread here, they have to do something else. Let's say first player goes here. I recommend this move. In case second player goes there to generate his odd thread, the first player will go here. So the first player will not go there to have his own odd thread, because then second player goes there and wins by force. So first player goes here, and second player, let's say second player goes here to stop us, to try to stop us from getting the odd thread. Then we win like this, and we have the odd thread. If second player goes there, we go like this, and we have the odd thread. So first player wins. So second player cannot do this. So let's say second player does this. In this case, there's only one winning move, and it's this move. So this move you have to kind of remember. I just explained why this move is winning. I won't explain why all other moves are losing. There are some forcing lines, like like a second player will get some immediate play and have some double threats basically. So first player has to do this. And let's say now second player does something like that, or no matter what they do, like some stupid move basically. Then first player goes here, and second player cannot go here because then we win. So second player has to do something else, like for instance this move. And then first player goes here, and we have our odd thread. In fact, we even have an odd thread and an even thread above it, and we win. But okay, the odd thread is also enough to win. So this position is winning for the first player. So second player kind of like has to stop us from doing this, and they can do so by doing this move, because now we cannot go here because then this happens. So first player still has a way to win. It's kind of like forcing and like very long line, but it's easy to remember. So as first player does this, then second player has to respond, and then first player goes here. And we have the threat of having our odd thread, so second player tries to stop it. Then first player goes here, second player has to respond to our threat to win, and then first player goes here. Second player has to respond to our threat to win again, and first player goes here, second player responds to our threat to win, and we have the odd thread, and when we fill up the board, first player wins. But I mean, we still have some lines to cover. So let's say instead of going here, instead of going there, the second player goes here. In this case, the first player does this kind of off-looking move. So what is the point of this move? So let's say second player goes here to generate the odd thread again. Then first player can go here. Second player has to respond over there to stop us from getting the odd thread. And then first player gets the odd thread. And in fact, we have a double attack. So, and if second player does this, first player does that. So second player cannot go here. And in case they go there, then the line is very similar to the line I'm going to be showing you next. So I'm just gonna do that. So let's say instead of doing this or this, second player does this. Then first player goes there to stop second player from getting the D shape and does an even thread, undercutting all the odd threads from the first player. And let's say second player goes there to stop the same for the first player. And now there's only one winning move for the first player. It's to go here. And you may think that this is already just winning for the first player because of the odd thread in the second column, fifth file. But I mean, the position is winning, but not because of this odd thread. Why? Like, imagine we fill up the second row, the second column, just to the third file. So this odd thread that we have, it kind of like has this invincible barrier that only we can break. Okay? And this invincible barrier, so this invincible barrier, what it does, it offsets the parity for all the other rows. So as long as this odd thread is remaining, the first player will get the even squares and the second player will get the odd squares. And now I want you to look at the first column and the third file and the fifth file. In the first column, and let's imagine the second player gets this. In case the second player gets this, either the third or the fifth, third or fifth piece in the first column, well, then they have an odd thread in the second column and fourth file. So undercutting the odd thread that we have. So the reason this is winning is not this odd thread that we have generated on the left hand side of the board, because after some time it just will be undercut. So why is this winning? It's, I mean, you may have guessed it already. I've been talking about the shape all this time because it's like really important. It's about the D shape in the middle again. So let's say yellow cannot stop us from getting this D shape, because if they do, we win by this. But like at least immediately. But let's say they can combat like the consequence of our D shape by going here. In case they just do something stupid like this, we just go here and we win with our D shape. I mean, okay, we can still go here and yellow goes there and then do this. And we have a 7 and it's forcing win. So yellow has to do something else. Yellow has to immediately combat us, but they can do so. So they cannot go here, but they can go there. In case we go here, we cannot get our kind of odd thread here to win, because yellow has this move and we can only stop one thread. So we have to do this as a response. And let's say yellow goes here. If yellow goes here, we have to get there to stop yellow from getting the even thread, and yellow has to go there to stop us from getting the odd thread. And now you may think that this move is winning because we have generated an odd thread, but it isn't winning because the second player can undercut us with this move, and then the odd threads cancel out. So we have to stop the even thread from the second player first, and in case they want to stop us from getting the odd thread now, we get this odd thread, undercutting again the eventual even thread that the second player will get, like I explained in the line earlier. And this positioning is just winning. And like in case they go here, we just go there, and we still have the same odd thread. So this was the line where we stack everything in the middle. I hope you understand this opening, and if you do, you can also these are all the major ideas, and I think you can play perfectly in, yeah, basically no matter what the second player does. Okay, thanks for watching the video.